The following video is for educational purposes only. For those of you that might not be aware, and for a select few of you this may actually come as quite a shock, but there is a heated debate going on currently with an exponentially growing group of people who believe, and many who are absolutely convinced, that the Earth is flat. There are literally hundreds of thousands of people who are exploring the notion that this Mother Earth that we live on does not revolve around the sun and is in fact a motionless flat plane, and the stars, sun, and moon, literally the entirety of the cosmos, revolve around the Earth, a model called geocentrism. A majority of these folk are very dedicated to their cause and are making their case with passion and gusto. There are hordes of independent researchers online who are posting videos with much evidence to support their claims, and average everyday people have taken up doing scientific experiments for themselves to test the veracity of the claims made by scientists and space agencies across the known world that the Earth is part of a heliocentric or sun-centered system. For many, the initial response to hearing the idea that people are actually considering the notion that we live in an Earth-centered or geocentric universe usually takes the form of something like the following. Who in the bloody hell thinks the world is flat? What kind of moron believes such nonsense? Have you ever been up in an airplane and seen the curvature of the Earth? Stupid. Shit is round like the other planets. Ever hear of the Hubble telescope? Dummy. The Earth being a spinning globe and going around the sun was and is taught as absolute fact. But if you were like me, you probably often question whether or not you really learned anything in school. To even consider the notion that the Earth is flat, for many, is a complete waste of time. And that is exactly why we are going to investigate this subject today. If you were like me, you take to heart what the great George Carlin said about governments. Also presents ourselves with a litmus test, challenging our own application and understanding of the scientific method. Our litmus test will be A. Are we using the scientific method, not relying on preconception or bias to arrive at our conclusions? Or B. Have we failed at such a noble objective? Simple as pie. Science, by definition, is the intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Anyone can make those observations and experiments. Science is a method of investigation, not a set of beliefs. Science is not monopolized by governmental institutions and by men in white lab coats. Science belongs in the hands of each and every human being on this earth, regardless of what anyone says.
First of all, if you're a fucking guy that's making YouTube videos about the Earth being flat, that shit isn't research. It's just not. It's not. You're not a scientist. You're not wearing a lab coat. You don't work for a major university. Just because you're some fucking jack-off alone in your room obsessing about nonsense, that's not research.
Damn, I'd hate to be one of those fucking guys on YouTube making a video on the flat Earth who obviously has nothing important to say. No real worries if you are not aware of what it is I do, as I won't be doing too much numeric work in this video. But if you are wondering what all that weird math is that occasionally pops up, well, there's your answer. Can NASA and the numerous other space agencies of the world be trusted when it comes to the information that they provide? Most news programs, media outlets, and your average everyday nightly news-watching citizen will accept without question or controversy the claims made by any and all of these space organizations. Images and data sent from the New Horizons satellite floating towards Pluto billions of miles away, the Curiosity rover on Mars picking up samples of the Martian surface, the Hubble telescope snapping pictures and videos of quasars, pulsars, nebula, etc., all throughout the universe, assertions of water on the moon and other Earth-like planets existing all over the cosmos. All of these claims are usually taken at face value without any serious investigative team ever questioning their scientific legitimacy, or demanding verifiable proof for the information offered as absolute fact. Average everyday people don't often ask questions like, hey, how does the International Space Station handle traveling speeds of 17,500 miles an hour around the Earth in the thermosphere that is said to reach temperatures of 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit? How does the International Space Station ground itself without ever touching ground, as it continually builds up a static electric charge cruising around the Earth? How does the Cassini satellite cruise through the rings of Saturn unscathed, while we are told that the rings of Saturn are made of billions of pieces of ice, dust, and rocks, some as small as a grain of salt, while others as big as houses? It is questions like these, along with so many others, that have many people in the Flat Earth movement doubting the whole 9 yards. I will be playing 2 quick videos. The first one is provided by the folks at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration and is a supposed shot of the dark side of the moon as it passes before Earth in a roughly 25-hour period. The second one was released by the Japanese Space Agency and is supposed to be a video taken of Earth rotating in space. Let us take a look at the first video. This video is said to have been taken by a satellite floating somewhere around 1,000,000 miles from Earth. As you can see, even though the video is supposed to be of a 25-hour period, the shot is perfectly still and the cloud formations hardly, if ever, move in this entire span of time. Besides looking just absolutely fabricated, it must also be noted that the moon crosses a great distance over the Earth in this video, which is completely inconsistent with what we are told the orbit of the moon should take around the Earth, which is a period of approximately 28 days. Also pay attention to the fact that not a single star is seen in the background. Where are they? There are numerous anomalies and inconsistencies with this video, and even the untrained eye can see that this footage has some serious issues with its authenticity. The second video is provided by the Japanese Space Agency, and shown here is supposedly a video of the Earth as it spins, creating day and night. If you take notice, the camera is once again perfectly still, not a nudge, shake, bump, or shift in the viewpoint, which in itself seems completely illogical considering that this was supposed to have been taken from a weather satellite drifting in orbit in the vacuum and infinitude of space. As you can clearly see, the clouds all move together in perfect harmony, almost as if one enormous weather pattern swept over the entirety of the Earth. Notice that when the day turns to night, no lights can be seen on the Earth. Is this because the satellite is too far away to detect them? Also notice we do not see any of the supposed 1,800 satellites orbiting the Earth, nor do we see the International Space Station that is supposed to be traveling at 17,500 miles an hour. Also take note, just like the last video, the absence of stars in the background. Though we can see stars here on Earth very clearly, and astronauts at NASA recently admitted seeing stars in space, it is a complete wonder why we do not see a single one in any of these videos. I have personally shown these videos to non-conspiracy-minded people and asked them point blank if they believed that the footage that they were viewing was real or CGI, and the response I received every time was a laughing, "Absolutely not, that is fake as hell and obviously computer generated." The internet is littered with sites, once again of varying quality and accuracy, that have heap loads of evidence that calls into question literally everything these space agencies do. From the International Space Station to the Apollo moon landing hoax, there is an excited, passionate, and fast-growing demographic of people that are calling bullshit to the claims the governments of the world are making, and they are backing up their grievances with mountains of evidence. No matter how high you climb in elevation, the horizon will always rise up and be level with your eyes. High-altitude balloons have traveled upwards of 33 miles in elevation, and when the curvature of the camera lens, usually a GoPro fisheye lens, is accounted for, which changes the horizon line from convex to concave to flat as it bounces, we find that the horizon remains completely flat and no curvature is ever seen. How can this phenomenon be best explained? The flat Earth model explains this by the fact that the Earth is a plane, not a planet, and therefore what is viewed with the eye is consistent with the actual flat, extended plane on which we live. The best explanation from those in the heliocentric camp explain this occurrence by the fact that no one has just gotten high enough in elevation to see the curvature, due to the immensity of the Earth. The horizon only looks flat because we are seeing a very small portion of the massive Earth. Pics from NASA and other space agencies also show the curvature of the Earth as well. Personally, I must say that, though the heliocentric explanation at first hand may seem plausible, it is not consistent with the math as given to us by spherical geometry. People all over the world, myself included, have reported seeing distances that, according to the basic mathematics of a sphere that has an equator of roughly 25,000 miles or so, should just not be visible. Objects 20, 30, 60 miles away and further have been spotted, many of which at sea level, that just should not be seen according to the math. Ships that have supposedly sailed over the curvature of the Earth, when zoomed in with a telephoto lens, can clearly be seen, which is completely inconsistent with the heliocentric or globular Earth perspective.
You determine a plane in which the pendulum is swinging, and that plane is fixed. So as the Earth rotates underneath the plane of the pendulum swinging. And so if you...
The design of the Foucault pendulum is fairly simple. The pendulum is a heavy mass on the end of a very long chain, suspended so it can swing freely in any direction, and through this simple system it is said that we are able to measure the rotation of the Earth. Unless my understanding is severely flawed, for the Foucault pendulum science to be correct, and thus be a valid instrument to measure the Earth's spin, that would mean that a helicopter could float above the Earth for 3 hours and arrive at a destination several thousand miles away, which we all know is impossible. Foucault pendulums are working in science museums across the world. End of the world scenarios repeated exhaustively on news channels, books, and podcasts and internet sites across the world. There was even a blockbuster Hollywood movie starring John Cusack about 2012. To be clear, there never was any Mayan doomsday prophecy. No Mayan pole shift. No Mayan apocalypse scenario. None whatsoever. Nope. Just the scattered artifacts of a civilization with a superb mathematical and astronomical understanding of the cycles of time. This astronomical alignment of the December 21st solstice sun rising in the center of the dark rift of the Milky Way has a whole new added weight when the geocentricity of our Earth is taken into serious consideration. The ability to track and calculate perfectly vast cycles of time, thousands upon thousands of years, makes a whole lot more sense when you understand that the Earth below you is stationary. Nikola Tesla, and the second one by, once again, Albert Einstein. Earth is a realm. It is not a planet. It is not an object. Therefore, it has no edge. Earth would be more easily defined as a system environment. Earth is also a machine. It is a Tesla coil. The sun and the moon are powered wirelessly with the electromagnetic field, or the ether. This field also suspends the celestial spheres with electromagnetic levitation. Electromagnetic levitation disproves gravity because the only force you need to counter is the electromagnetic force, not gravity. The stars are attached to the firmament. And what is ultimately being hidden and stolen is man's destiny, purpose, and direct proof of his place at the center of all creation. For those who believe it is just too impossible for a conspiracy of such magnitude to exist, and that an elite bloodline or corrupt group of individuals could not fabricate and engineer such a complex conspiracy over several lifetimes, you must consider the following. The York Minster Cathedral, one of the largest Gothic cathedrals in Northern Europe, was completed in 1472 and took 252 years to complete. If a building project of such magnitude can continue on for hundreds of years, over several generations, why would you suppose the engineering and building of a conspiracy could not do the same? For those asking what is the point of lying about the shape of the earth, I would offer this. Throughout my studies, research, and long process of spiritual growth, I came to an immovable understanding and intrinsic recognition of the scintilla and spark of the Great Spirit within all things. It is something that I have held within the center of my heart. It is something that I see without eyes. It is unwavering in my psyche. Such a revelation has empowered me like never before. I found that spark of the Creator within when I was still under the erroneous impression that the earth was a spinning ball, cast out in an infinite and endless universe. I can only wonder how much easier my pursuit might have been if I had not been lied to and instead was taught that everything in the universe literally revolves around the drama of mankind. If I would have been taught that the earth is the center of everything, I can only imagine it would have been that much easier to find the center of myself. For several years now, I have created content, books, videos, podcasts, and the like, in an effort of trying to help people understand that man is no accident, that he is created with a great purpose and has a great force within him. I have tried to teach and express passionately how the work of a grand architect is all around us and can be recognized and understood, and that this all-unifying force, with all of its mighty wisdom, has put mankind central to the entire mystery. Now, to get people's attention to understand some of the subjects I talk about can often be tricky. Gematria, symbolism, numerology, these are all subjects that from the outset can seem pretty difficult to grasp. But when you tell somebody that they've been told their whole life that they live on a ball and that they don't really live on a ball, well, that is a talking point that can get someone's attention real quick. We are given great highs and great lows, and our ultimate task is to navigate through these oceanic swells, anchoring every decision and every action with the goodness of our hearts. What is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of existence? What on earth are we doing here? For all you English gematria hounds out there, the weighing of the heart ceremony equals 132, and there are 42 principles of Mat, the very feather that is weighed upon the scales. 132 divided by 42 is 3.142, or pi. The answers to our most seemingly profound questions are not so convoluted and perplexing. The word earth is an anagram for heart. What are we doing here, you ask? It is no grand mystery to recognize that man's goal on earth is simply to find and secure the love he has in his heart. So for the record, I don't really believe that the earth is flat or concave or convex at all. If you ask me my real opinion on what the shape of the earth is, I wouldn't say it looks like this or like this. Really, the earth looks like this. Nah, I'm just kidding. Shit's flat as fuck. Much love to all.